call the meeting to order anyway. Okay. Motion please to adopt the agenda. Reimer and Torgerson. Any additions? Yes?
I'd like to add something under new business.
Yes?
Could we call it procedural change?
Okay. Yes?
Okay.
Procedural change?
Yeah, I can't think of another name for it.
She'll explain
All right.
later, okay.
And
we also have the bylaw number 746.
Correct.
It's a planning report and bylaw readings.
That
So,
could be included under new business as well.
under new business as well?
11.2.
What is it, sorry, 11.2?
11.2.
11.2, okay. And Councillor Blanchette says 11.1.
Correct.
Any further amendments? Okay, so then adoption of the agenda with the 2 amendments to the agenda. All in favor? Carried. Motion please to adopt the minutes of the November 10th, 2015 public hearing. Salt and Reimer. Are there any errors or omissions? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. Adoption of the minutes of the November 10th, 2015 regular meeting of council. Councillor Blanchette and Reimer. Are there any errors or omissions? Hearing none?
That's bad.
Yeah, stop looking at me always. Someone else has to step up once in a while.
We do, but we don't see the stuff.
Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. And 3.3, reporting out from the minutes of the November 10th, 2015 in-camera meeting. And there's no resolution required, but council reports out its November 10th, 2015 in-camera meeting as follows. And that is the decision to appoint the following parties to the Village of Valemount Affordable Housing Focus Group. Any discussion? No? Yes?
Yes, Mayor Townsend, I'd just like to mention that we have also sent out an email to thank the other volunteers for expressing their statements of interest as well.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that. All right. Agenda item 3.4, adoption of the minutes of the November 17, 2015 special meeting of council. Motion please to adopt the minutes. Okay, Torgerson and Salt. Is there any discussion or any errors or omissions? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. Adoption of the minutes of the November 6th Public Works Committee meeting. 1, adopt the minutes, and 2, endorse the recommendations from the Public Works Committee. Does council wish to discuss anything from agenda item number 2 regarding the recommendations? Councillor Salt.
I just had a concern that it appears that some of another committee discussions are happening in the Public Works Committee. Yes. So, you know, I was kind of surprised to be reading about some emergency planning stuff when I know I'm appointed to that committee and discussions were being held during the Public Works Committee, so I didn't think it was really appropriate.
And as a matter of fact, I made note of that as well, that Councillor Salt is council's appointee to an emergency committee. And if any other committee is discussing it, they should not be doing it without her presence at least. Agreed. And without notification. So, Mr. Wiesner, do you have any recommendation?
Well,
what they should and shouldn't do anymore.
Well, that's agreed. It was overlooked.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a surprise.
Yes. Yes. Okay, yeah, I have here Councillor Salt. It says that committee discussed the need for regular meetings of emergency responders. And I have Councillor Salt's name beside that. Now, I don't know if council wishes to discuss this any further or remedial. Councillor Torgerson.
Your worship, I would like to make a motion, please, just to adopt the minutes rather than endorse the recommendations.
Okay.
There was a lot of discussion that particular day, and there are a lot of implications that come with that, with those discussions, and to particularly budgetary implications. And I would like to move that these recommendations or potential recommendations be reviewed by staff, particularly Director of Finance McNee, Public Works Superintendent Blanchette, as both those two departments are directly affected, and that should they sign off on those recommendations, that those recommendations come back to the Public Works Committee, and then we'll be better able to bring those recommendations back to council.
Okay, but Public Works staff was present because I see there are comments here by Public Works staff.
They were there, but we didn't have, as a committee, we didn't have a time to reflect on the discussion, and that it was strictly that. It was discussion with emergency responders, with the general public, business owners, etc. And I know for one that Public Works has really stepped up during these last few snow events, working almost around the clock to keep up with the snowfall of recent, and that perhaps in January we'd be able to take those recommendations and bring them back to council when we have budgetary comments from the Director of Finance.
Okay, so there should be another meeting held perhaps with the financial officer present, and just eliminate emergency measures until Councillor Salt can be present.
And many apologies, Councillor Salt.
Okay.
They were in the room.
They were in the room, yeah. And they took the opportunity. No, I'm not blaming Public Works committees per se.
Just corrections,
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah.
And I think I did mention to one of the staff people that I can remember some years back that the superintendent and Mr. Schnell, they used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go out there and move snow around and away and go home at 11 o'clock. So that when everybody went to town or to work by 8 or 8:30, the streets were already cleared. And it only took place maybe 2 or 3 times a year maximum. You know, they didn't have to do that regularly. It was just during a heavy snowfall, day and evening. Okay. All right, so we are going to then have our motion just to adopt the minutes of the November 6, 2015 Public Works Committee. And
Correct.
not endorse anything else, okay?
Moved by Councillor Torgerson. We need a seconder.
Yes, Councillor Blanchette. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. Okay, is there anything that council wishes to bring forward from the solid waste management presentation or anything else that's in the reading file?
Owen, Mayor
Yes.
Townsend. As requested, we have posted this information
Okay.
to the village's website. If anyone out there is looking for additional information about the solid waste management plans of the regional district.
Okay, thank you. Administrative reports, Councillor Salt, travel expense and report. Council, a motion to receive the travel expenses and report provided by Councillor Salt related to the Trans-Canada Yellowhead Highway interim board meeting held in October of 2015. Torgerson and Salt. Any questions? I want to thank you very much. This is a very important board and association, and it has achieved a great deal over the years that are absolutely remarkable. And I know that at this point, because so much has been done, I think the thing that they need to do now is just push for twinning the whole highway, the whole Yellowhead Highway. Thank you, Councillor Salt. Okay. All in favor? Carried. Proposed development variance permit for 880 Bevan Crescent. Motion, please. What is council's wish? To authorize staff to prepare a draft development variance permit to allow the placement of up to 6 additional sea-can storage containers, or to prepare a development variance permit to allow the placement of up to 2. What is council's wish? Do you want to make the motion for discussion? Councillor Salt or Blanchette and Councillor Salt? Which one?
Can I add a fourth one?
Go ahead.
I'd like to request additional information from the applicant.
Okay. Is that, yes?
Okay.
If I may, Councillor, what additional information would you be requesting of the applicant?
There seems to be some inconsistencies between what they're listing as ownership on their application versus what their certificate of registration states and title search and everything. So there's been a lot of changes surrounding this property, and I just want to ensure that all of the appropriate parties are being appropriately reflected before anything else is done on this property.
Councillor Reimer?
That maybe what you see, perhaps Councillor Salt and Madam Mayor, to answer the councillor's question. The property was recently subdivided, and the property in question, which has the sea cans, is now different.
So that is what is described as the
Because
legal land description in that.
the property was subdivided, and then the piece with the car wash was subsequently sold. And they retained the other, and there was the old piece was still registered in the land title office under a previous numbered company, and then the numbered company had legally changed their name. So all of these documents are correct.
It's Valemount Car Wash and mini storage.
Yes.
Yeah, that is correct. There are 2 numbered companies. One is listed as Valemount Car Wash and Mini Storage. So the site that is owned by the proponents is in the name of Valemount Car Wash and Mini Storage, although they no longer own the car wash.
Does that satisfy your?
Sure.
Do you still want to amend a motion? Or are your questions answered?
Questions answered.
Okay. Yes.
So our motion then was to request for additional information, but it would appear that that has been addressed.
That's right.
If the councillors can withdraw the motion, then we
Okay.
can proceed with another motion.
Okay.
Do you want to withdraw the motion?
I'll withdraw that.
Okay, I'll
Okay.
second it.
Okay. Okay, all in favor? Carried. So a motion then for either 1 or 2.
Pardon? I just have a quick question. Are 6 sea cans going to fit on that property?
Physically, 6 sea cans could fit on the property. As is outlined in the report, staff have some concerns whether there might actually be the ability to utilize the two gates in such a fashion that motor vehicles could move across the site using it as a U-shape. If all of the C-cans were to be put in place, it would mean that vehicles would either have to engage in a multi-point turn on the site, which would be very challenging, or to back up onto Beaven. I have actually spoken with the RCMP about this as well.
And what did they say?
It would be possible to do this, but it might be challenging. And certainly it would be, if they were trying to back up a trailer onto Beaven, then in all likelihood, a trailer would probably cross over the center line, even though it's not painted on the road.
I don't think we have that much traffic really to worry about it though. It's not like it's not on Fifth. Okay. Thank
The
you.
financial liability would be the drivers, would not be the villages.
Okay. Thanks.
How challenging would it be? I mean, how many times would they have to turn? Is it really that serious?
If they were trying to do a multi-point turn on the site, it
On the
certainly
site,
would.
and then that's none of the village's business really, if it's on the site, is it? No.
It is in some respects. We actually, in our zoning bylaw, we do have some parking provisions and access and egress provisions. It is in part why we were looking at providing a two C-can option, but it's entirely up to council's discretion.
Councillor Reimer?
I'll make a motion that we authorize staff to prepare a development variance permit to allow placement of up to 6 additional C-can storage containers on the subject property.
Councillor Blanchette?
Yeah, because it's up to 6, so if the 6th doesn't fit, I'm sure he'll maneuver them around.
All right. Councillor Torgerson?
I'm in favor.
You're in favor, okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. And 8.3, regarding a proposed development variance permit for 940 Main Street. Motion from Councillor Blanchette.
Yeah, I'll make a recommendation for number 1.
Okay. Seconder, Councillor Reimer. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. Fees and Charges Amendment Bylaw Number 745, 2015. Motion, please, to approve first and second reading of Fees and Charges Amendment, or approve first and second reading of Fees and Charges Bylaw with any recommended changes. What is council's wish? Councillor Torgerson?
I move that we approve first and second reading of the Fees and Charges Amendment Bylaw 745, 2015.
One second.
Okay. Seconded by Councillor Blanchette. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. Well, council reports. I'll start with Councillor Blanchette. I'll do it alphabetically and stay out of trouble.
Okay. I know I'm in trouble when you start that way. On the 16th, I had an RVSS meeting. I did it over the phone because the weather was sort of yucko. And on the 16th, I also had, then I ran out the door really quick to the clinic, and I had a child and youth mental health and substance abuse over the phone. We're jumping into a shared care introduction into the program. So that's the new exciting thing that's happening. Monday, I believe, I have a all-afternoon workshop, which we're looking forward to, and this will be an exciting program. The 17th, we met here at the village, and that's it.
Councillor Reimer.
Meeting at the village office on the 17th of November.
Thank you. Councillor Salt.
Special council meeting on the 17th here at the village office. And today I participated in a Trans-Canada Yellowhead Highway conference call with the executive of the association. And further reporting down the road. Right now, I can't report anything out on that just yet, but a lot of discussions happening and a lot of work ahead, especially for BC.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Thank you.
I think I'm going to have to ask them to add into their budget some travel for me, so.
Good. Councillor Torgerson.
On the 16th, I was very pleased to meet with Miles Brunn from the Jobs, Tourism Skills Training Ministry on a plethora of subjects. And then on the 17th, a special meeting of council.
Thank you. Well, I attended the same meetings as you did on the 17th, as well as with Miles Bruns. I wanted to say Remembrance Day. It was my very real honor to present a wreath on behalf of Minister Shirley Bond, as well as on behalf of the village of Valemount. And I'll ask Mr. Wiesner to say a few words after this as well. You know, there was standing room in the Legion only for the Remembrance Day service. There were children again from the elementary school who sang a couple of songs. There was another little group of children that recited In Flanders Field. And I'm really proud of the way the community responds to Remembrance Day and remembering those who fought to keep our country free. And there was a Tourism Society board meeting, Historic Society board meeting, and I wanted to thank Mr. Wiesner once again for sitting down with the Historic Society board to assist them by facilitating a 5-year strategy planning. They really appreciate you, by the way. So thank you for that. And Regional District Fraser Fort George. And that's it. Thanks. So I should like a motion, please, to receive the verbal reports. Blanchette. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Carried. Before we go on to new business, I think it's all right talking about Remembrance Day if you wanted to add a few comments while it's still fresh in everybody's mind.
The worship and council, it was one of the best. We go every year, but I think the fact that you're indoors just makes it so much better. And that Pastor Conrad, he did an outstanding job, I thought. The best I'd ever seen. So, and the turnout was excellent. From really little kids participated till seniors, and and my wife were really impressed with that Remembrance Day. And so
Good.
We did well. The community did well.
Yes, standing room only. Thank you. All right, new business. 11.1, Councillor Blanchette.
I would like to ask if we could have a procedural change, I don't know what the proper term would be, that after every council meeting, if we have discussed and passed an item that has something to do with one of our citizens, that they be contacted within that week of what transpired that day or at council. I know that staff is busy, but I think just a quick email saying, yes, it went through, these are the steps we're going to take, we'll get back to you, or whatever the case may be.
Your Worship, I'd like to take, I'm sorry that you're absolutely correct, and we just had misunderstanding that the individual was here, but it's noted, and I'm responsible and accountable, and I agree with you, and we agree with you. So that we will get either email or a letter out in response.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
If I may. Councillor, as a general rule, we do get out a response to applicants and to others within a few days. In this particular case, I wound up leaving town, and we had several other pressing matters in the following week. It's certainly not a normal practice for us. Our normal practice is actually to respond pretty diligently within a few days, and frequently we actually provide a response the next day.
Okay, and I realize that people leave town and stuff, but just maybe we could have a phone chain or something like that. If you're away, then perhaps Carlina would inform the citizen. Just so something's in place, so that no matter what, that person is phoned within that week.
I agree. Any remark, council? Any further thoughts? Okay. Okay, so do we want that in a motion so that it is noted as a desired procedure?
Your Worship, I don't think so. If it happens again, then you can fire me. No. I'll take responsibility that I think it should be a normal procedure. But if it happened again, I would suggest that you pass a resolution.
Okay. Anything further, Councillor Blanchette?
That's great, thank
That's
you.
good for now. Okay, thank you. All right, 11.2. And that's the Village Bylaw number 746, Procedure Bylaw number 652, 2010, and the amendment. And that is with respect to giving first, second, and third reading to the Village of Valemount Council Procedure Bylaw number 652. And this is, the purpose is to seek Council's consideration of proposed amendments, and this is in particular to support electronic participation in council meetings. Could I have a motion, please? To give first, second, and third reading. Councillor Reimer and Councillor Torgerson, and it's open for discussion. Any questions? Councillor
I would
Blanchette.
ask maybe first and second reading. I haven't had a chance to even read it, as we were just given it. Could we hold off on third reading until next council, or is this a time-sensitive thing, or?
It's up to you.
I think it's time sensitive, and it was discussed previously. Do you have any questions?
Well, I just haven't read
Take a
it.
minute to read it. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes, Councillor Salt.
Is this not going to go before the public? I thought it was said before that this would go before the public for feedback.
Why would it go before the public for feedback if it's a council procedure?
Well, it seemed to me previously when a council procedure bylaw had come before council, the public were given the opportunity to provide feedback. There were discussions around changing the day and time of a meeting, and the public had input into those proposed changes. So I'm just wondering why the public wouldn't be given the same opportunity this time around.
Do you have a comment on that? I think for council procedural meeting, or, for procedures at the meetings is really a council discussion. This has been discussed previously several times. It has just now come before council for a motion to approve, to give first, second, and third reading. Councillor Reimer.
Madam Mayor, this is part of the community charter, so,
Okay.
which is available for everybody to see. It's not anything that is new.
Only thing I would add that if you have now a break between now and the next meeting to pass it, so if you did get any public reaction, that, I think that would be suffice, I would think.
Okay.
That's why you don't usually try to rush through the whole bylaw unless it's emergency in one meeting.
Yeah.
So you give time to each council to reflect and get into
Okay.
that.
Okay. Yes, Councillor Salt.
I think further consideration does need to be added to this. We really haven't really discussed it openly like a committee of the whole. I think if anything, if we are going to pass something like this, there should be some limitations, that it shouldn't just be an open, you're allowed to attend electronically, whatever reason. I think there should be some limitations placed upon it. So I know there's already a motion on the floor, so for second and third. However, I know Councillor Blanchette proposed an amended one, first and second. So we'll have to deal with the motion on the floor right now.
Okay. What does the charter say? What does the community charter say regarding this topic?
So there is provision in the charter for support for electronic meetings. The ministry has provided some guidance as to the nature of, has provided some guidance as to how those meetings can take place, but it provides a great deal of discretion to council. Council is free to limit if it wishes, it can limit the amount of electronic participation by a councillor. It can restrict the types of meetings as well that a councillor can participate in. For example, an in-camera meeting. If a council member is out of town, is unable to attend, and can only do so electronically, council has the discretion, certainly, to limit, as I was mentioning, some forms of participation.
Are there other municipalities that have electronic participation? Are there examples or formats of their resolutions that we could look at?
As a matter of fact, we have looked at some.
Okay.
We've looked at Kelowna's, we've also looked at Vancouver's, Oliver, Soyuz, and others. Some of them are very simple. This one is a hybrid. It strikes a good balance between it strikes a good balance between the suggested language that is provided by the ministry through its procedural bylaw boilerplate, if you will, while at the same time providing an opportunity for a council member to attend most meetings. As I was saying, the language that's presented here, it's entirely up to council to make this decision, of course. As you can see in the bylaw, the language includes, for example, under A member of council who is unable to attend a council, special council, or a committee of the whole meeting. What is optional is an in-camera meeting, and again, depending upon council's pleasure, council has the ability to fetter or to limit in-camera participation if it so wishes. Generally speaking, most municipalities where they have established the provision to allow electronic participation, it's fairly open, with the possible exception of in-camera participation.
Okay. Are there any questions or further comments? Councillor Torgerson?
We do have the facilities to enable the public to hear or to watch and hear the meeting at the specified place as designated by the community charter.
You do, up to 2.
Up to 2. Okay. Any further discussion? Yes, Councillor Blanchette.
I would like to take out the in-camera. I don't agree that that should be done. That should be done at all. I mean, for obvious reasons.
That's with the exception of in-camera meetings? A does say that.
Number 1, in camera is mentioned quite a bit in this bylaw, and in recommendation 1, it doesn't it has the electronic participation of in-camera meetings is taken out. So.
Yes.
Yeah. So option 2, so 1 or 2. 2 would give a council member the ability to participate electronically in in-camera meetings. Option 1 does not.
Okay. Do you have a preference, Councillor Blanchette?
I would prefer option 1.
Okay. Any further discussion? So we have a motion. Yes. Councillor Torgerson, did you have something else you wanted to say?
Yeah, I'm just trying to clarify your worship, Councillor Blanchette's comment. So, no electronic participation during an in-camera meeting?
Correct.
No.
Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Reimer?
With that change, then every time we go in camera after the regular meeting, the person absent wouldn't be able to participate.
Correct.
Which is some municipalities actually have provision that they can have a whole in-camera meeting electronically with people being in different places. so that if there is any need for calling an in-camera meeting when people cannot physically be in one room at the same time, that they can have that. I think I think we need to be as up-to-date and as proactive as we can be, because this kind of thing is going to attract better quality people to be in this room and sit on this council in the future. You know, we want people that are, you know, give somebody that is busy a job to do, and usually they find time to do it. So if we want proactive, progressive people, we're going to have to open it so that they can do these things.
I think part of this job is that this is a hands-on job, and I understand things happen and people get pulled away for family emergencies, but you need to be in town to be able to do the job. You need to be able to have people come up to you in the grocery store and say, hey, I have an issue I'd like to discuss. So I just have a real issue with this whole coming to a council meeting on a screen. You know, you need to be involved in the community and be here and be present. So I have a real issue with this.
Councillor Salt.
I do too, and I'm kind of stumbled by what your meaning of better quality people sitting in this room means. I don't understand what you meant by that. Are you saying that more people that are retired and going are snowbirds would feel more apt to run for council? I'm kind of confused by what you mean by that. Are you meaning that if people feel more free to be able to attend meetings electronically and not have to be here physically, that's gonna, to me, just, I kind of was like, where did that come from? And I agree too that it's a one thing whether you have to be away, it's another thing if you choose to be away. If you have to be away for a medical emergency, family emergency, something like that, that's one thing. But if you choose to be away because you're on a holiday or whatever, then that's your choice. That's not, the electorate didn't choose that for you, you chose that. That's just I'm struggling with it too. If we were to approve something, I would want some limitations. That's all I'm saying.
Councillor Torgerson.
Madam Mayor and Director Townsend, our DFFG, they allow up to 3 annual participation electronically, with obvious reasons, roads. So if you're unable to be there in person, you're able to call in or participate via the internet.
That's right.
My comment only.
That's right.
But it's based on those emergency-like participations.
And I know that the Columbia Basin Trust Board too, it's often by video. Yeah. So my thoughts are what is permitted in the community charter. Yes.
Section 128 of the community charter states that if this is authorized by procedure bylaw and the requirements of subsection 2 are met, A, special council meeting may be conducted by means of electronic or other communication facilities. B, a member of council or a council committee who is unable to attend a council meeting or a council committee meeting as applicable may participate in the meeting by means of electronic or other communication facilities. Should I go on? Number 2, the following rules apply in relation to a meeting referred to in subsection 1. A, the meeting must be conducted in accordance to the applicable procedure bylaw, this one. The facilities must enable the meeting's participants to hear or to watch and hear each other. C, for a special council meeting referred to in subsection 1A, I, the notice under section 1272, notice of special meetings, must include notice of the way in which the meeting is to be conducted and the place where the public may attend to hear the proceedings that are open to the public, and 2, except for any part of the meeting that is closed to the public. And the facilities must enable the public to hear or watch and hear, the meeting at the specified place, and a designated municipal officer must be in attendance. D, for a meeting referred to in subsection 1B, except for any part of the meeting that is closed to the public, the facilities must enable the public to hear or to watch and hear the participation of the member. Finally, number 3, members of council or a council committee who are participating under this section in a meeting conducted in accordance with this section are deemed to be present at the meeting. That is section 128 of the community charter.
Community charter, okay. Does anybody have any remarks or questions about what the community charter states? Yes?
Everything in section 10 under this bylaw conforms with the community charter. To my,
Yes, okay. Do you have anything that you want to add?
No, I believe these things should come before council to make the decision, not us.
Yes,
So it's like, I think this is a healthy way that you're
Yes.
debating it,
yes.
and it should be in the public, and the majority rules. So, and I don't rule, but.
No, I know that,
Yeah,
but
no, I know. But
I just thought if you had anything
I
that,
think that I like to see things like this that get before council
Yeah.
as quick, and you make decisions, and what you do, we implement.
okay, that's good. I just thought that perhaps in your travels in other municipalities that you might have a recommendation.
This is new since.
Okay.
I'm an old guy, remember? But I think it's a great thing.
Yeah.
I'm on a committee for the Diocese of Nelson, and we have meetings all the time, all across the diocese for all the different committees but mind you, it's a cost saving there because everyone's spread all over the place.
Yes.
But it's, the technology is here now to do it, so.
Yes, okay. Councillor Reimer?
Madam Mayor, if I just might correct any misconception or misunderstanding for the councillor across. I wasn't making any kind of insinuation or remark about present council members or anybody else. I was essentially suggesting that I would hate to see somebody that is good, qualified, and perhaps in business choose not to put their name forward because they would have concerns about not being able to be at certain meetings because of their business, and we would lose that expertise as a community if they would be able to run otherwise.
Councillor Torgerson?
Blanchette.
Okay.
If we go ahead with option 1, are we able to, next reading, address any concerns and maybe put some limitations on things, or?
Yes.
If there's a number of different options that council has in respect to this report and the bylaw. You could give first, second, and third reading to this bylaw tonight. You could give first and second reading to it, amend it at third, and then proceed to a subsequent meeting. We have made provision later in December for an extra council meeting. So it's possible then that the bylaw could be adopted on the 10th of December as amended. If council wishes to amend the motion that is presently in front of you, you could then give first, second reading and then give it another consideration at the subsequent meeting in December, early December, and then move to amend it as I was mentioning.
Does December 10th meet the time crunch that we're under, or?
Yes, it should. I believe it does. Councillor Torgerson, did you have something to add?
Yeah, if I could add, we have the electronic, section 10 of our procedural bylaw could include electronic meetings, subsection 1, A, B, and C. May I add a D? 4 times per year limitation? That's 2 months of absence. Any further absence other than that
Disqualifies.
would need a letter of
Okay.
absence.
I don't know if it still is in force, but I can recall previously that if a councillor missed 3 months in a row, then they were removed from office. Okay?
That's still,
Yes. Yes.
Mayor Townsend, if I may, I'll have to do a little bit of checking on this, but just to confirm, I was not anticipating that anyone would be away and potentially in danger of losing their seat. But Councillor Torgerson, a question for you. Were you suggesting up to 4 consecutive meetings?
Up to 4 consecutive
Meetings.
Because I believe anything more than that would require a letter excusing the absence.
All right.
Yes?
If you wish, I would suggest then that council will give first and second reading. We'll come back with some tweaked wording for a D, if that's acceptable to council.
Yes.
And then you can give it your due consideration at the next meeting
Okay.
with the anticipated adoption potentially on the 10th of December.
Good. Is that satisfactory to council? Okay.
I think I need to clarify a
Yes.
little bit, if I may. We had a motion, original motion
Yes, I know.
by Councillors Reimer and Torgerson.
To give first, second, and third.
Correct.
Yes.
So we'll have to,
Amend that.
yes.
Okay. Does, it wasn't voted on, it was discussed. Do you, Councillors Reimer and Torgerson, agree to just rescind that and make a new motion?
Sure.
Okay, okay. So the motion then will read to give first and second reading, correct?
Correct, and this would be option 1.
Option 1, okay?
First, second, okay, and not third, okay.
Yeah. And third could be deferred until December the 8th or 10th?
December 8th,
December the 8th, okay.
And the 4th would be on the 10th, correct?
potentially,
Okay.
subject to council's pleasure.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
Good. List of outstanding council resolutions. Staff recommendation that council accepts the list of outstanding previous council resolutions. Councillors Blanchette and Salt. Any discussion? I only wanted to, let me see. No, it's not here. That's all right. Okay. Any discussion or questions?
Everybody's busy.
Everybody's very busy. Okay. Just as a matter of interest, how many building permits were issued this year? Anybody know offhand?
I couldn't tell you offhand. It's actually part of the monthly staff report.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I may.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was included in last agenda's monthly
Okay.
staff report.
Yeah.
I can look it up.
Good. I can too. Thank you very much. Okay. All in favor? Carried. And we are at public comment. Is there anybody in the public who wishes to make comment? Yes.
Rashmi Narayan, I just wanted to add some comments to the council procedure bylaw that you guys were discussing, and I think it's really healthy to see that discussion, even though it's awkward. You know, it's not easy to have that discussion. I also want to say, personally, I agree with some of the comments about it's participating in person is quite different from participating in camera, and that's why I think it is useful to limit it to some degree. And I know Councillor Torgerson said 4 consecutive. I would personally like to see a limit on the total number of meetings so that there is adequate participation. Because you can miss 3, and then if you're doing every alternate meeting in camera, like that's not a lot of in-person presence. And I think, like after a meeting that's come up, if there's something someone in the public wants to talk to the councillor about, we miss out on that opportunity. So for that reason, I think there should be a limit on the total number of meetings through the year. That's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further public comment? Oh, our cameraman.
Your Worship, Gordon Peters, 304 1010 8th Avenue. I have a question and concern about the electronic attendance. There are 5 members of the public, 6, including media here tonight, and a potential 1,000 other Valemount residents who are not here, who can watch the council coverage on YouTube or on VCTV. I want to make sure that council considers the logistics of doing that and make sure that we do have an avenue to provide that service as we are funded from the tax base to provide council meetings and other community service. So it's important to us at VCTV that we get good coverage for those councillors who may not be in attendance, and we just want to make sure that we have some communication lines open there to provide that service and continue to provide it for those who can't be here.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. We have those public comments noted. All right. I would like a motion now to proceed to an in-camera meeting.
Oh,
Whoops.
item 14.1, we need a motion.
Oh, okay. A motion, please, to receive the public comments. Okay, Blanchette and Torgerson. Okay. All in favor? Carried. So 15.1, notice to proceed to an in-camera meeting. That council proceed to an in-camera council meeting for consideration of 4 items for sections 90.1 A, C, D, and E of the community charter to discuss the matters related to items 1, 2, 3, and 4. Blanchette and Salt. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.